Good. Good, all right.
At Island?
What's that?
At Island?
It's at Columbus. Yeah.
We'll notify the state patrol.
Yeah, it's a waste of time notifying the county.
I don't know about that. Robert got beat a week ago.
In the county? In the
In the county, yeah.
That's right.
The lights on his trailer weren't working.
Oh,
He got a
So
red
does everybody
warning.
else on the
I know. He got a red warning,
Oh, it's okay.
and that's okay. So we need to be treated like everybody else.
Howling started really fast.
Yeah.
I got a call about Boise Street this weekend.
Good or
What do you think?
Some days I have.
They don't even call good
They
things.
don't call it, it's good.
bad? Yeah, they did a great job.
Chris goes on, I'm leaving.
Cole, I'm gonna have a question for you after the meeting from something last meeting.
That's fine.
And there it is, 6 o'clock, so I'll call our meeting to order and we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. If everyone can stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can you take roll call, please?
Ryan Robertson.
Here.
Kevin King.
Here.
Alan Schneider.
Here.
Tom Sexton.
Here.
Lois Schneider. Here. Chris Brinson.
Here.
All right, everyone present and accounted for. We'll move on to approval of the agenda. Any questions or comments on the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
One second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved. First order of business is the consent agenda.
The only item I have on here, comment, we will be discussing, let's see, item number 7 on the expenditures, Copper Creek Bridge later on, under my report. So if we wanted to withhold that one until, I guess, approval later on the agenda, or consideration later on the agenda, that would be my recommendation.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda withholding item 7 on expenditures.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is approved. Next up is our public forum. Anyone wish to
I'm
speak
good.
on the public forum? Great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, we'll keep moving then. Item number 6 is our Washington County Sheriff's Department report. Are we expecting someone this evening?
Aaron should be here at some point, but he's not here right now.
All right, we'll return to that when he gets here from his other meeting. So that will take us to our people service report. Brandon?
So starting off with water, both the bypass activator valve and the VFD for RO Train 1 have been ordered. Electric pump will be in as soon as they receive those. The 2025 CCR report has been completed and is posted. Automatic Systems had scheduled a visit to over at the water and the waste plant and the tower to get some dimensions and better understand the wiring and the part numbers. We have our scheduled IDNR water sanitary survey for May 27th. We have some hands-on training with Subsurface, locator training company for refresher on using the portable radio detective device. All required IDNR testing has been completed to date. The next non-routine sampling we have is coming up is lead and copper, which is starting in June. We have noticed a water loss trend, and we're trying to reconcile that and reach out to our rural water to see if they can assist us in some leak detection as well. 100% of the preventive work orders have been completed to date. Moving on to our waste. Haynes is sending us a new sensor for the UV bank. That was just installed as well, and they'll be coming on site to take a look at everything before we schedule a final walkthrough as well.
That sensor has been kind of actually at this point, the only thing that's been holding us up from doing that, trying to figure out that before we do our final walkthrough, so we can do a final acceptance on the UV project. So it sounds like we've kind of gotten that sorted, that there isn't as a faulty sensor. The quartz sleeve was also broken with that stuff replaced, and have our walkthrough, and then assuming everything was good, we'll be able to close out that project with acceptance from city council.
ESCO Electric, putting together some quotes for us for new wiring for the garage door at the waste plant. I believe, Jed received those quotes today, and he would be getting you tomorrow or something.
I got them today, or I forwarded one of them to for verification on prices.
Yeah, they're under review.
Electric pump was out last week, looked at lift station 5 for us. We were getting some random low-level, high-level alarms, but just kind of discovered there was loose grounding wire within the control panel there.
I just have one short question, is why we bring electric pump over from Des Moines, do electrical work?
That's just the company we've always had that's worked with us.
I just question that, whether we could get somebody a little closer or less travel time. Just note that.
Any other questions, concerns?
No.
I just had a question on one of your, on page 9. Does the wastewater always jump up like that this time of year? It's the water pump versus wastewater in gallons?
Yeah, that's, so some of the I&I concerns of why we're doing our sewer repairs. So that, it's a pretty substantial spike, and a lot of that, I'm assuming, is infiltration into our water and wastewater system. So CIT Sewer does our annual jetting and visualizing of our sewer system. Also, I met with them last week, and they're going to give us it's another quick quote to do some smoke testing as well. One possible concern I have is like people's sump pumps or gutter systems hooked up into the sanitary sewer, especially in parts of town that are, I'm gonna say, like pre-mid 2000s. Like, that's not an uncommon practice. So I think all of the rainfall that is getting sucked into those sump pumps or down those deep spouts going right into our wastewater sewer system, and that has
So it looks like this.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I didn't look back.
So what smoke testing would do, would indicate where there's unlawful connections, and then we'd be able to get those people to, it's illegal by code, so they would need to do a separation on that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a concern, we see that.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
All right, 7A, we've got an item for the people service renewal.
Yeah, there's really not any differences on this renewal agreement from when we last reviewed it. The only update was to that term length. So before they sent us one that was like a 5-year with like an automatic, I think, 3-year renewal or something like this. And this would be a 2-year agreement with a, I believe, automatic for 3.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. We also did reel in some of those chemical maintenance budget items, so that would actually lower our monthly payment by, I want to say, like $1,000, $2,000 per month. Currently we're at 27,000 something. So ends up that means they would be holding on to less of our money that effectively wouldn't be used, because we have done quite a bit of improvements to both the water and wastewater plant. Our chemical use has gone down. Right now, it looks like there may be some water loss to investigate, but for the most part, all of that has decreased. One of the major things is a lot less fouling of the RO system, which means a lot less chemical bleedings. So we don't have to go through that process as often to keep those clean, so it's less cost. But, let's see. We also have discussed with them some improvements to the monthly reporting about a reconciliation of work orders. Alan, you have anything else to add to?
No, I don't think so. Since it wasn't redlined, I just wanted to make sure, have you reviewed to ensure that all the changes that we requested were in this final copy? I kind of scanned through and didn't see anything that was missing, but before we sign, I'd like to know that everything we requested and they had added is in there.
I will do one last review on this, but if everything is as expected, I think we'd be okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to do one more read through, and if it'll be all right, I don't know if you'd like to have Dan do one last,
Yeah, that's fine.
and then if everything's good, give it another.
Yep.
Do we need to do it tonight, or can we do it in June? I mean, it's July 1st. How do you want to do it? Do you want a resolution tonight, or do you want to do it after they've looked at it?
I mean, I think you'd be okay to authorize approval if everything did look good.
I scanned through it and it looked like everything, at least the major things that I knew we talked about have been covered in there, but I didn't go through it line by line. But yeah, I guess maybe the most important thing is, does anybody have any concerns? Like, other than just verifying that everything is what we had requested, does anybody have any concerns?
Well, I don't
with
know
it?
what kind of discussion was on this, and I haven't read it page for page either, but was there anything on operators on site, including what grade level? Has that been a concern of ours? I mean, are we gonna get anything different on that?
So 1.5, states people service will provide properly certified and licensed employees for the staffing of facilities, including ensuring that a licensed operator is on site whenever required by applicable regulations and operational needs. So we also, one of the things that Dan and I did was we contacted our DNR territory representative, I believe they're out of Washington, and they did confirm that having Steve, who's here, once a week or so, as the licensed operator, that is satisfactory. But I will also, both Brandon and Jed have, been working hard on getting the grades up, and they have been moving up, there, but from a DNR, which is the regulatory authority over our licensing, it is compliant for their needs. So I guess I don't know if we wanted to require both of our operators be of full grades. I think that would probably be reflected in pricing as well. But I guess as it stands, I don't necessarily have concerns with the two operators. We do have, ultimately, they're still responsible for licensing the facility.
And what we did do in our discussions with People's Service is make sure it was clear that, and I think you had this comment, Kevin, that the staff that was on site on a daily basis received all the training they needed to be able to operate the plants appropriately, and that we received documentation of that training. So that is an adjustment there that should help with that oversight. And I think there were some more requests that we had in the addendum portion of this for just reporting and things like that, to make sure that we were getting the support that we needed, management as well.
Well, you meet with Steve on a regular basis anyhow. I mean, don't you have,
I would say probably once every 3 to 4 weeks. But he's in town more frequently than that with them, but they don't always make it in town, I guess, in my office, but, yeah, so,
I mean, you feel comfortable that he's there when he needs to be and that they're,
yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it goes back to trust with the operators itself, and, I have no problem saying that, Brandon and Jed are like the two finest operators of people service that I've worked with. Obviously, that's, you know, I've only worked with two other ones, but I've been very impressed with them. And I think, because of that, I think it has made things a little, also we put a lot of investment in the facility. And I also, you know, we have had problems with our operations in the past, but I also think we need to look in the mirror on some of that where, you know, we did invest a lot of money in the facility in the last couple of years. And I think that has made a significant change as well. So I don't think all of that can necessarily be people services fault, but at the same time, you know, I do think the quality of our operators have improved, and, you know, they continue to, you know, work on getting their increased grades and things like that. But at the same time, it's definitely, has to be an ongoing, I guess Steve has to make sure he's staying involved here, so, but, yeah, no, I don't have any concerns with the two of them.
What's the number?
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Of the rest of the 24. 2026, 24 is what it would be.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-24, contract renewal with People Service Inc. for water and wastewater operations. With the stipulation that, everything that you requested
Do
is in the contract after your review.
I'll second.
Okay, any additional discussion? When looking back to the last resolution, I didn't notice this before, but in the minutes, the last resolution from our last meeting was listed as resolution 2025-23, so we'll wanna
Oh.
update that in the minutes before they're finalized. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote for approval of that agreement. Rogerson?
Aye.
Keen?
No.
Sexton?
Yes.
Schneider?
Aye.
And Grinstead?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution is approved. Anything else to cover on the people service report? Okay. City engineers report is next. Are you going?
I'll take care of that one.
Okay.
I figured we just had a DCR application, we didn't Brian here for that tonight, but, as far as, I'll start with the engineer's report. So we did receive the cost opinion for the Wellness Center. I did send it out to everyone. I think things, all things considered, look pretty good. Now, I've also gotten some feedback from Axiom, the OPM team, that, contractors are pretty hungry for work. And, you know, that could definitely, have a impact on the pricing as well. But the only thing that really wasn't considered in that, cost estimate was the remaining engineering as well as any additional equipment, that we would do. That's also a decision that, we'd like to, I guess, talk about operations at the upcoming, work session. Let's see, I did get, basically their 100% design development plans, to review. Let's see. Water quality initiative grant that has been approved. I got an announcement on Facebook about that. We received nearly $90,000 for 3 bioretention cells for stormwater there. And then I also, applied for basically, it's a pre-application for the Iowa Economic Development Authority's Community Attraction and Tourism Grant. And that'd be for up to $500,000 for the Wellness Center. So we were invited to apply, and that's something I'll be working on an application for. It's a rolling application, so really I'll submit it and it'll just consider it at their next board meeting for it, which I believe they meet monthly or bi-monthly, so the turnover or turnout period isn't too long. And then Wednesday night, we've been invited to the Washington River Foundation. Our grant by the grant committee has been recommended for approval. Keep in mind that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be approved in full or approved. That's still a decision of the general board, but I think it's a good sign for us. And so I think that's exciting. Let's see, I think that's the main bonus and updates there. Let's see, downtown revitalization, you have the application number 10. I do have a couple contract things I'm working on right now that I don't think we need to go over maybe tonight, but I will have, I can follow it on the next couple meetings to get those addressed. But at this point, we are past the established contract final completion date, so that's something we're working on with the architect and the contractor, and looks like we're gonna have some ways to address our cost overages as a result of that. So Hall Park, I've not seen the concept drawings yet for the playground equipment, but as soon as I do, I will have those out to you guys as well. And then same thing kind of goes with the CIP. I haven't seen the final document. I've seen all the draft stuff, but they're going to send over a final copy of that so we can review it, send it to P&Z, bring it back and do a full adoption of that. So I think it's a public hearing we have to do for that as well. But once we have that together, it'll be nice to have an actual official document that we can work off of for the next few years. But any questions on the engineer's report before I jump into the application for TG? So pay application number 10 is for $42,202.50. This has been approved or recommended for approval by Martin Gardner, as well as been cleared for payment by ECOG. So that means all of the required grant submittals have been sent. So all the payroll information we need to verify has been collected. So this $42,202.50 is okay to move forward.
I'll make a motion to pay resolution 2026-25 in the amount of $42,252.50 to Cornerstone Commercial Contractors for the downtown revitalization project.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote to approve that resolution, starting with Grinstead.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton.
Yes.
Keeney.
Aye.
And Rogerson.
Aye.
All right, that is approved.
Once, like I said, I have a couple contract things to figure out, work on there, but once we get to the point of getting close to doing our final acceptance of the project, we'll have a work session to walk through the project. I think that'd be good to have, work with the business owners to do kind of an open house of each of the buildings and kind of have it as like a public celebration of, 6 buildings that have been saved and turned into something nice. So, all right, on to my report.
Should we circle back?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Sheriff's Department.
Yeah,
report real
we got
quick.
you.
All right, ready for
You're gonna let me jump in?
Yep.
You gotta slow down.
I suppose.
I appreciate it. For the month of April, Riverside had 125 calls for service, with 80 of those being traffic stops and 14 of those coming from the casino. In comparison to April 2025, Riverside had 77 calls for service, 36 of those being traffic stops and 5 of those were from the casino.
Cool.
Aaron, thanks for your help on some of the.
All things considered.
Enforcement.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
questions?
When's the last time you've written a traffic violation for engine braking noises in our town?
I'd have to check the stats, I don't know, it'd be very few.
I will say, I do hear, I mean, this is just, me being here during the day, I did hear several of them go through. So I think if you put someone at the fire station, roll your window down, listen to it, you need to do that.
I think it's more so when they're coming from the east and they hit my corner and then the Riverside, in the park corner. And I know several will rip them.
All the way by Casey's and.
You don't like that sound?
Well, it's usually when I'm home from lunch, I'm sitting out there with the dog, like, really? But that's, I can't get my camera on and film them and send it to you.
Sure.
But yeah, it's not a huge deal, but if we got a ordinance against it, I'd like to see some.
It's posted on both sides of.
I think they're coming from the west too.
Oh, I'm sure it is down the grade, but I don't hear that side too often unless it's a.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's been.
Great.
If you watch for it, that'd be great.
Sure. So,
Listen for it.
Anything else?
Nope.
we do have a deputy that's field training, he'll be on his own late July, early August, and we're still in the hiring process for 2 deputies. And the speed trailers come in the Riverside next, and I will be with Cole to set up a couple locations when it comes over here, so.
I believe Sheriff Schneider will be here the next meeting, I believe,
Yes.
for contract approval.
Yeah.
So,
County get some new vehicles?
What's that?
Did you get some new, patrol vehicles recently?
Yeah, they're on a rotation that they get cycled out and sold.
So I thought I seen some more fuller size Chevys or whatever they are, vehicles.
Yes, there's been some new Tahoes, that have been ordered.
Nice.
All right. Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, now I'm clear.
Yep.
All right, so, item 9A, I did, receive notice from, Chris that he will fortunately have to, be resigning from city council, starting June 1st. So as part of that process to, fill the vacancy, our, city code established a couple different options for us. One is we can do a city council appointment, or option 2 is a special election. I know in the past, I would say 6-7 years, there's been, I think, a couple of option, I guess, times that have occurred like this. I think we've done an appointment both times. My recommendation would be to do the appointment as well, as just kind of a special election is costly, a lot of coordination as well. But I guess my recommendation on the appointment would be to take public applications for this, but I'm also open to city council feedback on that process. Our code doesn't really establish how we go about it, other than that is city council's, I guess, power to appoint.
Because we have appointed, I mean, when Janine left, Kevin had ran, and I think when people have ran, they have filed their papers with the county, and they've had people sign their petitions, and they've made that effort, so. And I think we had one that was within 6 votes, so the people had talked there, so. I just think that if people have taken their time and effort to want to run, then.
Well, I think that involves putting their name out for application. I mean, there's no saying that the person that lost still wants it. So put her out there, let them apply, and we'll review and look at it.
I agree with that. And, as far as that goes, citizens or residents can still call for a special election, can they?
Yes, yep, there's still the opportunity, if they wanted to do a petition, they absolutely can, and we would legally have to go through that pathway. Now, would it be something that would, require us to spend tax dollars to go do that? Yes, but if that's what the public would like to do, they absolutely can, require us to do so.
And, if say we appoint someone, what kind of time frame after that appointment do they have to call for a special election if they don't agree with our appointment?
30 days.
That's what I was thinking.
Was it?
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of what's around in my head too.
It's 30 or 40,
But
yeah.
we can
I
check.
can ask
What I was,
Tammy to be sure, I guess.
what I was looking to get out of tonight's discussion on this was to determine what was the preference for which route we would go. I mean, if we go to the appointment route, there's, no guarantee that we would be able to do so if a petition was called for. But if we just straight went through, for a special election, we would already have, a little bit of more time and resource coordination, all of that, invested in that process. But if we are comfortable moving forward with the appointment, and then if we have to do a special election, we have to do a special election, like that's.
I vote for appointment.
I would say, we ask for applications. I would even maybe put a small interview with them if we can.
I mean, I would be okay if we took applications. One thing Al and I talked about was we took applications and, give the opportunity to kind of like a forum, if you wanted to ask some questions and then maybe have a public hearing or something like that, to give the public some input on before city council made a decision. I mean, that's ultimately, those are all beyond what's required by law, but it's kind of up to your interpretation on the process. It's just, the law gives us the two different pathways. If we want to, do a little different of a process, we can, but.
I like that scenario.
So, clarity on this, is that taking applications and then doing like a forum with those to give the opportunity for them to, I guess I would be happy to come up with some questions for that, and then have a public hearing for that same meeting afterwards, so then any member of the public could provide input off of what was spoken, and then have a city council decision.
Yeah, I'd make that motion, just like you said.
Yeah, same, I'll second that motion, just like you said.
Play tapes, see what's
So I don't have to repeat that word salad.
Okay, so application, I'll call the panel, and then public hearing, council action.
We have to have it done a certain amount of time too.
Yes.
So we need to,
Well, I mean, as soon as you guys say appointments, I can get an application out for this tomorrow and posted, so we can start
yeah,
taking applications. And then, let's see here.
Do it.
I guess I will set up I'll let you guys know what the schedule is. I'll just set the schedule according to the deadline we have to meet.
Yeah.
Lawfully, so, I mean, regardless, say we take applications and then we get a petition, we just still have to move forward with the special election at that point, so.
I guess just for my clarification, is there the potential for this action to be taken at the next meeting then, or are we thinking it's gonna go beyond that?
Well, next
So the
meeting
first meeting in June,
would be the first.
is it reasonable to have,
I think it would be, wouldn't it?
The only thing that would be,
Seems like plenty of time to me, 2 weeks.
hear me out here, the only thing that would be an issue is if we had the public hearing. Maybe if we didn't have a formal public hearing, we could do it, but to have a public hearing, you have to set it by resolution. So we would,
yeah, and I don't know that we need to have a public hearing. I think it almost muddies the waters more to have people coming in and making comments in the process.
But you guys are okay with like a panel where we can have answer some questions so you all can.
Yes,
what they have to
public
say.
forum.
Residents can hear what they have to say as well, and then.
Yeah, that's, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
So
That's
applications, panel, appointment.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, if that's the case, that's realistic. So if we could, I could get it posted tomorrow with, hey, we're accepting applications, here's how to apply, deadline is
If people
X
10
day.
days to apply, and then we'll plan on having them attend June 1st meeting. So, Chris, you will still be here for the June 1st meeting? Okay.
So
I don't close until June
Okay.
June 1st will be your last time.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Perfect.
And then you might wanna look into the League of Cities to get them trained up.
Well, we'll have to do the public records and open meetings training.
Yeah.
Because, so. And other training.
Quicker.
All right. Would you guys be all right to give me a motion on, moving forward with the appointment process?
I'll make a motion to move forward with that.
Um,
Do you want Tom to
Yeah,
amend his motion in any way then?
no, Tom, if your recommendation,
No, you were good with the last decision on how. to do it.
application, panel, appointment.
Okay. Change it to that, yeah.
So that motion was made by Tom, second by Ryan.
Yeah.
Any additional discussion? All right, all those in favor of that plan, say aye. Any opposed?
It's a dangerous game to say whatever Cole said, so I'd rather get some clarification on that.
That's why we pay you the big box.
I say a lot of words. All right, I have a couple ordinances here, and these are follow-ups based upon the fireworks conversation we had. So, the first one is, on chapters 41 and 124. And give me 1 second here. So, this was to make our fireworks, ordinance aligned, with what current Iowa law allows for. So that means, fireworks, can only be, legally launched on the 3rd, 4th, a city council may by ordinance or resolution prohibit the use of consumer fireworks, display fireworks, or novelties, on any day other than July 3rd, 24th, and December 31st, in accordance with section 727.2 and subsection 4. So, our current code is more restrictive than what the state allows, so we do have to make some changes here, to make sure that we are in alignment with that. So, we are repealing, section 4113, fireworks, and current section 4114, drug paraphernalia shall be, remembered as section 4113. So, we can no longer say that fireworks are illegal, within city limits. Chapter 124 of the Riverside City Code is hereby repealed in its entirety and replaced as followed. Fireworks use is unlawful for any person or entity to explode any consumer fireworks, including first-class consumer fireworks, second-class consumer fireworks, as defined in section 10A 519.1 of the Code of Iowa, subject to the following exception. And this is for July 3rd, 4th, and December 31st. We can't make any restrictions on those days. Additionally, it's unlawful to use or explode display fireworks, subject to the following exceptions. So you'd have to get a display fireworks permit. Display fireworks can also be exploded by a city agency or department, fair association, amusement park, or other organization, or group of individuals or individual upon receipt of an application writing approval of same by city council, which shall include a finding of the first entity responsible for the use of display fireworks is a competent operator. So we currently have a display fireworks permit, and we just continue utilizing that. No permit shall be granted under unless a competitor, or competent operator or sponsoring person or entity has filed evidence of insurance with the city with the following minimum limits. So that you have to have licensed pyrotechnic, insurance, and then to apply. So, display fireworks, as described in the Iowa code, may be used on July 3rd from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., July 4th from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., and December 31st from 9 a.m. till 12:30 a.m. on January 1st, without restriction or other condition by any person or entity, but for the terms and conditions set forth in Iowa code. See, fireworks sale, it shall be unlawful for any person to offer for sale, expose for sale, or sell consumer fireworks unless the person is a retailer or community group defined in chapter 100 Iowa code and possesses and complies with all requirements of the consumer fireworks seller license issued by the state fire marshal. This retailer would also be subject to our peddlers, solicitor, transient merchant, ordinance, which we also have an amendment on following this. Consumer fireworks shall only be sold during the following days and times as established by Iowa code. For fireworks sold within a permanent building or structure, they may only be displayed and sold between the dates of June 1st and July 8th, and December 10th and January 3rd. For fireworks sold within a temporary structure, they may only be sold and only displayed and sold between the dates of June 13th and July 8th. Consumer fireworks may only be sold in the following zoning districts in the city of Riverside: C1, C2, M1, and M2. Dan recommended that if we ever add any zone classifications or change them, that we also make sure we update those as well. Consumer fireworks may not be sold on any public property.
I'd like to understand the logic behind the dates on the permanent and a temporary location.
It's all reflective of the state legislation.
Well, I understand that, but I'd like to know what their thinking behind it is.
Specifically of why they chose those dates?
Yeah, why 13 different days separation just because you have a physical location versus a temporary?
I would contact
No, but I'm just saying.
Sorry.
I know you probably can't explain it, but there's some thinking behind that for a reason makes nonsense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wondered that too. I'm assuming it's just because most of the time the temporary structure is tents and parking lots and things like that, so they were shortening the time that those are up potentially, but yeah, hard to say for sure.
I don't know. But that would be our, I guess, the amendments for the fireworks and the launch dates and times specifically. Any questions on that? If not, we do have potential for two different motions. One would be to approve the first reading of the ordinance, and the other one, if acceptable, would be to waive the requirements from Iowa Code 3, Section 3, and place this measure on its final passage for adoption immediately. Following, if that were to be following adoption, we would have this published and then it would be taken effect.
I'd make a motion to approve the first reading and waive the second.
You have to do that as two separate motions.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, any discussion on that? Right, here none, we'll take a roll call vote, starting with Rogerson.
Aye.
Keeney.
Aye.
Sexton.
Aye.
Schneider. And Grinstead.
Aye.
Okay, first reading is approved.
I'll make a motion to waive the second reading
And place it for.
and place it for.
Okay, place is the measure on its final passage for adoption immediately.
I'll second.
What Paul said.
What?
Said what what Paul said on the motion.
All right, any discussion on that? Does that need to be a roll call vote as
Yes.
well? Okay, all right, So we'll take a roll call vote on that, starting with Grinstead,
Aye.
Schneider, Sexton, Key, and Rogerson.
That will now be published and it will be in effect, and then we'll have that, on our website as, adopted, not yet codified, code ordinances. So once you do our codification, it will all get brought up to date. Cool. All right. Last ordinance here, this is, like I said, the peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants. This is for people who don't have an established business location coming in and selling things. Specifically, this was to address the sale of, fire safety sensitive merchandise next to, potential fire hazards.
You're not gonna read all that, are
That's what I was thinking, exactly.
So, I also did, change, that the, I guess, application fee for the peddler, solicitor, transient merchant, instead of being set at $2, is simply set by resolution. Honestly, for the fact finding you have to do to verify someone's identification, verify their insurance, it takes a little bit more than $2 worth of time. But I also think just for ease of updating this in the future, along with our rest of our fees, other than like water rates and things like that, it's okay to set this by resolution. So, we have that. I reviewed this with, our fire chief as well. Chad gave us, some recommendations on, what the, NFPA, which is like the fire code, provides for, flammable materials. Chad gave me an outline of what his inspection process would look like, and that would be something that we would build into, well, I actually already started building it into our application process. So whenever it is say a flammable, good or next to a flammable area, it would trigger an inspection by Chad, and he would need to approve it, to approve the peddler, solicitor, transient merchant permit. But,
So he would be checking out here.
correct. So before they'd be able to open, you would need to verify that they are at least so far away, that they have, say like fire suppression, fire extinguisher, that stuff nearby, all of that stuff. So,
That's good.
yeah. That. Any other questions on this ordinance? I think we were able to address everything, which was the time, launch times, launch days, flammable materials, permitting. I think that would bring us up to speed on fireworks. So,
I'd make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-02, first reading.
yes.
you? Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote on that as well. Rogerson.
Aye.
Key.
Aye.
Sexton. Schneider. And Grinstead. Okay, that is approved. Do we have a motion to waive the second and third readings?
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote on that as well. Grinstead.
Aye.
Schneider.
Aye.
Sexton.
Aye.
Key.
Aye.
And Rogerson.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved, those readings will be waived.
Next thing for you guys, I have to schedule a fees update. This does a couple things. We're recommending, our peddler, solicitor, transient merchant application fee to be $10. And then I'm also, adding, we didn't have it specified before, annexation request to be $500. And that is based upon, a couple things. So I talked to Dan about this. A typical annexation request is gonna take a couple hours of his time to complete. So based off of his rate at $250 an hour, $500 is what we are, going with. It also encourages people who Because annexation is a very process-heavy thing that takes a lot of time, it also discourages people who are just submitting an application from doing so. So we make sure that we're getting serious requests. So those would be the two updates I have for you. Keep in mind, this is very easy to update now, so if there's ever, a fee you wanna, hey, we need to take a look at that, it's as simple as a resolution and make an update.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution to adopt schedule fees 2026-26, right?
Yep.
With the two corrections. Or two updates, I should say.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
All right, here now we'll take a vote to approve that resolution. Rogerson.
Aye.
Keeney.
Aye.
Sexton. Schneider. And Grinstead.
Aye.
All right, that is approved.
Next thing for you guys, we did receive a final, payment request to Copper Creek Bridges Development Agreement with the $8,000, for that. I did, receive payroll, summary indicating the number of, hours of employees they have. And then I also, from Kelly, got a report on the number of events they did. So they did last year 15 events, and they have currently 29 scheduled for 2026.
Nice.
I will also say, I called Kelly and thanked her for working with us on, parking in their parking lot and not parking on the street this year. They've been very good about that, and I appreciate them working with us. I also did let them know that while we still own the other lot on Commercial Drive, if they have a need to potentially lease that for overflow parking, that is certainly a conversation we're open to. Yeah, so this would be, like I said, the final payment of their development agreement. We have the $8,000 of budget for this, and they did, meet the requirements for events and, maintaining employees here. Let's see. I know Lois had some questions on parking lot from when it was developed. I tried to look into it. Based off of my understanding, there was the site plan ordinance that was adopted in 2018. The installation of the parking lot should have required a building permit. I can't seem to find record of anything that was submitted. That does not necessarily mean that there wasn't one. Just some of the records are a little difficult to follow. You get a few years back here, unfortunately. And if there's a building permit, there should have been a site plan, which would have a traffic and parking plan with that. However, which would show where the parking stalls would be placed. I can't seem to find a record of anything like that, but I have made a recommendation to Kelly and Matt in the past about striping, but our site plan showed, ordinance indicates the number of parking stalls that should be required, and it indicates the size of parking stalls, but anything about actual striping, I can't seem to find anything that would necessarily require them to do so.
Well, they bought that building and that lot was probably already there, right?
Yeah, it was Scandinavian interior.
Did they go
Yeah, and then it
wood
was
zone?
Horace Bakery and.
Oh, words, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, I would like to see the least that they do, every place else, like the convenience stores and Dollar General, they're all marked out. They have handicap. Most places have to have handicap accessible and stuff. I'm not against paying this is our commitment, but I do think that if you talk to them about striking, there's just some things that
I don't know, I think it would be next monthly call with Dan, I have like some of the small things I'll bring up and talk to him about. I
Yeah.
can ask about that then, but I'm just not sure what, if we don't have anything in our city code that specifically points all, say, like, private, or like, off-street parking has to be marked, I'm not sure what to enforce here is the problem. That's what I'd have to follow with him to see what his opinion would be, but I don't disagree that it would be better to be striped.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
What,
And this is our last payment, that's my only concern is this.
Yeah, I just don't know if that payment is, there's just no way to force them to do it
Well,
off of that.
no, I don't mean force them, but I think if, just, like I said, I'll make a motion to pay their 8,000, but I do think we need a conversation, I just figured Iowa would have for at least the handicap, and I think it's to their advantage, because if you have something going on and everybody's, coming to get ready and they take those spots, I think there should be spots for the handicap at least and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
think it
that.
was just before them, probably. I just think it was probably before them, their ownership.
Oh, sure, yeah, it probably was, but that doesn't mean, and it's
Yeah,
not.
they should still do it.
Not enforce, just,
Yeah.
communicate, I think is important.
Yeah, they should
so.
still do it.
But I'll make a motion to pay the 8,000 to Copper Creek for their, this is a final payment, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
last one here, financials, our total, cash on hand is just over 7.8 million. We do have a pretty sizable payment, to Axiom for, hitting our milestone on the Wellness Center project that will be coming out of, Wellness Center fund that'll, I think, put us back to around $1 million in funds there. But, another thing I'm looking at is, TIF, so Senate Bill, 2472, changed, LMI, requirements. We got rid of that section of, the urban renewal, code. So not only did it get rid of the requirement to withhold, our 27.02%, of our, I guess, TIF, but it also got rid of how we were supposed to spend those. So I'm going to be awaiting the direction on what we do with those section. Can we just, use that further towards paying back the interfund loan or what? But that's no one will change there. Let's see here. Steph, do you have any other?
No, there's two transfers that need to be done from the wellness center account out to general fund, because it gets paid out of general fund, and then we do the bank to bank transfer, so that just needs to happen still for the last few.
I've also, reached out to the Washington County Treasurer and just to build out a process for assessing things like property taxes. So, say even though it would be a resident responsible, cost that city building for, whether it be a nuisance enforcement or a sewer repair or whatever by code is a resident or property owner responsibility that we have the right to do, to build out what that process looks like. And I found out that it's as simple as we, pass a resolution and then we take it to the treasurer and they, get that assessed. So, yeah.
All right, any questions? Good.
Should do it.
Closing comments, anybody has any? Anyone? All right.
Motion to adjourn. Let me get you out of here.
Okay. Sorry. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:58.
Look at us.
Didn't quite make it, but.
No option between her.
Was that second by Tom?
Yes.
You wanna have my name like down the construction?
No, it's okay.
I get 50 miles an hour on this car.
Yeah.
Like going?
Yeah, the mayor's helicopter's out there.
Are you still heading now?
Yeah, I'll go down. It's,
What kind
they're
of?
just starting at 7, so
Oh,
I'll
that's
catch
good.
the second half.
Tom,